Hello, Penny. I can't hear you.
How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Great. I couldn't sleep last night. I don't know if I was beyond excited or what. So glad to be speaking with you again.
Yeah, likewise, likewise. How are you doing since our talk?
Okay, so I went through like all the stages of whatever, frustration, started watching YouTube again, and then the seeking, and then started watching different speakers. I'm like, okay, this just isn't resonating. Let me stop.
Yeah,
Try to force myself to just turn the TV off, turn the YouTube off, and just read a couple books or
yeah,
just chill, you know.
yeah. And that's what's been happening. You're just chilling. Okay, that's good. You look
Watching more
happier.
one-on-one. So
Yeah. More one-on-one. So yeah. So it's not completely over, you know what I'm saying? So what have you seen in the one-on-ones?
um let's see, which ones did I watch? Now I can't remember her name. She was from Australia and she said Tegan. I remember she because she said that name so many times in the video, referred her. Um I watched that one. I watched the one I think with Juanita, which that happened so quickly.
Yeah.
Um, and then you guys were just talking about like dogs.
I know.
I loved it. I loved it. What else did I watch? Just the one with I think Debbie, where she was that her name when she closed her eyes a lot.
Yeah.
She was just so gosh, she was just had such a warm
She
spirit about
is. Yeah, I wanted to hug her, right? She's just such a warm character. Yeah. So yeah, so there's this I've been talking like this for a long, long time, right? But people are beginning to notice now that it's different, right? People are beginning to say that not to kind of like, an ego thing or whatever, but as it is, they're like it's a new evolution. This is a new evolution. Because what we have been used to before is we have a non-person or enlightened person. Here I am as a friend
it.
telling you that you already got it. You just think that you don't, right? So what are your beliefs?
I think because I watched your video on the next, and
Yeah,
and a lot of the one-on-ones I'm sitting there and I'm going, well, what time am I going to start dinner? I had a hankering for plantains yesterday, so I went.
yeah. Plantains.
I know I haven't had it in
I
so
love
long.
plantains.
And I was like, oh, well, how
Are
am
you
I
from
going
the
to cook them?
Caribbean?
My parents are Guyanese, so
I
sort of.
love Guyanese. I'm
Yeah.
from Toronto, so we have, you know, like we have a multicultural stuff here, right? So
Yes.
we
Yes.
go to the Guyanese Chinese restaurant, which is the
Mm,
best Chinese food ever, right? And they
yes.
have plantains and they have like spicy stuff, right? So, oh yeah, sorry, go
So
ahead.
good.
Yeah, now I'm hungry. Okay,
So I just keep looking for that next is
yeah,
one belief.
yeah,
Um, I'm sure there's others.
yeah. Well,
Um,
what are you without that belief? If you can go to the past, you can go to the future. What do you have?
just
What's
right here, right now, this.
Yeah. And is there anything missing if you can't go to the past or the future? They're just thoughts, the past or the future.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. In this immediacy, there's this simplicity, right? There's this directness. If you can't go to the past or the future, you're in between. You're in between thoughts and no thoughts. Let's even try to go there. What's in between belief or no belief? If you can't see it, where's the you or the no you? Yeah. Is there anything missing here? No.
No.
Yeah. And this is the calmness, the clarity, and it's so subtle, right? Because it's almost like you almost miss it, but you're always overlooking it. But it's here.
I think that's what I'm doing is I'm
Yeah.
just not believing that this is it because I'm
Yeah.
not getting like I expect, see, I'm expecting something. I'm
Yeah.
expecting this full
Yeah.
not I'm just expecting clarity
Yeah.
and
Yeah. But the clarity without words, right? So it's already here. You know what I'm saying? It's
mhm.
already you already I already saw your eyes, kind of like, just but the belief is like where but get out of the way. The belief and the non-belief is you. What's between you and not you? Or no you? Yeah. So that's it, basically. It's just so simple. It's not about trying to figure it out, right? And it's unspeakable, really, because if you can't go to the past or the future, then there's no thoughts. The thoughts can't really come here. It could be in the periphery, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You could try to create this idea of I got it or I don't get it, but go in between again. It's like a loophole, right? There's a looping and there's a loophole. And that loophole, there's a directness, and that directness is the unspeakable. We've just been brainwashed in the idea that there's a fireworks or an aha or something. Because who's going to have the aha or the fireworks, right?
Right.
Yeah. So right now it's in this immediacy, right? The people that are kind of like gushing usually is the second session, like Josie was gushing about it, right? It's like, oh my God, that's the second day. Tegan actually did her. You know what I'm saying? I did, that's what she kept on talking about Tegan. But if you look at like Debbie, there was just calmness, right? You're like, okay, that's what it is. That's what a realization is, that there's nothing to realize. Between realization and non-realization, there's this in between. It's just calm, it's peaceful. It's conflict free. It's opposite free, basically. It's almost like being a baby again, right? There's this innocence, this feeling of pristineness, right? Not even a feeling, just pristineness. Yeah.
I think I'm there. I'm just not believing it. I'm just
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
believing that
Again, it has nothing to do with you.
nothing
You're
to do with it. Yeah.
nothing to do with you, yeah. Because you have a very what do you call it? You have a very advanced seeker mind, right? So it's okay. That's just a story as well. It's just a belief again, right? Come into this freshness where there's no you or no you. Come into this immediacy where there's no passed down knowledge or ideas about what this should be, right? Between ideas and no ideas, what's in between? What's in that gap?
Nothing. Just
Yeah. Yeah.
peace.
It's anticlimactic, for some people, right? Because they're looking for the bang or they're looking for the boom, right?
No, and I'm finally realized that's not going to happen. I'm just going to blink my eyes and
Yeah.
this is it.
Yeah. This is it. Again,
This,
don't even get caught in that, right? Because when this is it lands, then when this is not it in your thinking, then you're like, oh my goodness, what, you know, what did I do that for? That kind of thing. What's between this is it and this is not it, because this is not for the mind. So everything almost like parts, like, okay.
let's see, I'm imagining that.
No, you're just thinking, you're just imagining that you're imagining that. You're not imagining that. The mind, if you can go to the past or the future, you know what I'm saying? Meaning you can't even use words, really, because the words will just sabotage it, basically. It's almost like, like you've ridden this bike before. You're like, I don't know how to ride. You were a baby before, right? So this is something that is inherent. This is inherent. We try to get here by breathing, by meditating, but it's always here, right? If whatever the mind says, it's irrelevant right now.
Right.
It's a lie, right? It will say that, am I imagining it? That's irrelevant. Am I whatever? Did I get it? No, it's irrelevant. I got it. It's irrelevant. This is it. It's irrelevant, right? Because even when the mind claims it, like, oh my goodness, I'm so enlightened now. Irrelevant. I was doing a one-on-one with someone here, like, did I just get enlightened? I'm like, stop. What's in between enlightenment and no enlightenment? Because the mind can only appear in opposites, right? So it will make a declaration or will make a negation. That's why negation doesn't work anymore. That's why saying that there's no me, there's no self, it doesn't work because the mind now takes that position. So
Yeah, that
let's
never
just
worked for me
it
anyway.
never works for anyone, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It can be shocking. It can be like that, like you can have kind of like a cold water poured over your head, kind of like that feeling because you believe. So you just went into an opposite belief.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have a belief now that, that being a no me or whatever, or the same thing with awareness. You're like, oh, now I'm aware. It just went into another belief system. So I'm about to get canceled over and over again because I'm doing this stuff. Yeah, people are like, don't like what I'm doing.
Oh no. Well, I mean, I don't. How can they? You're on. I guess YouTube can cancel you, but
Well, yeah, they've been reporting my YouTube channel. Yeah,
oh
it's been
no.
happening a long time. It's okay. But you
Okay.
know what? That's just a story again. But you know what? I'm a fighter now. So I called them out.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, because there's some people. I think when you talked to Juanita and she mentioned one name, and I was like, yeah, it's almost becoming like a pyramid thing.
it is. It is. Yeah, it is. Like, I really like Angelo, to be honest with you. Right?
Yeah.
The enterprise behind him, like, come on, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I like him, but it's not him. You know what? He's just such a kind person that
Mm-hmm.
I like Josh. Josh is a great speaker, right? But I don't know the rest. I like Christine Romont or something.
No, I've
Um,
seen.
but
Yeah.
the rest, like the sound thing and all this, the trauma work and everything, it's just become an enterprise, right? So, and again, I'll say it to his face. You know what I'm saying when I talk to them, right?
Yeah, I can't. I've just not resonated with that.
I love him. I love, and it's the same thing with radical non-duality, right? Like I did really love Tony, but when it became so exclusive, was it um inclusive? Oh, exclusive. I get confused with my words. When it became kind of like just, what, it's just we're the right one and everyone is wrong. Then I'm like, there's something off.
Yeah.
When other people are getting put down, where I'm like, okay, because there's benefit to it to kind of like, there's no one here, you know what I'm saying? But when the character starts believing it, that's the problem. It's not the
Mhm.
speaker's problem, but also in the story, the responsibility to clear it up,
Yeah.
and not for people to not just copy Tony Parsons, but parrot him over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm grateful I found you because I could see myself that becomes a whole nother, like you said, belief system. And that
Yeah.
becomes, let me buy this book. Let me watch, my thing is I want to go to my YouTube and just delete my entire histories.
The Marcin, the guy that I did the one-on-one with, just showed me. He just showed me his subscription. It's kind of funny. He said, "Have a look at my subscription page. That's what freedom from seeking looks like."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's empty. You know what I'm
I love
saying?
that.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because you know what? And this is just an opinion, of course, that if you get into a teacher, that should be the end.
Yeah.
It should be the end. It should not be, going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Well,
and you
and
know
the
what?
feeling of more frustration and more, I gotta keep watching. And oh my gosh, what got posted today? And
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
and you don't do your Zooms anymore because I've
I
noticed.
actually just did again, but I'm
Okay.
calling it a new era, at the end of an era. So I do the same thing now in my one-on-ones. I'm like, you know
Okay.
what? I said Q&As are pointless. It's useless. Like, what, to get more belief systems, to get more knowledge, right? So I love poetry though. So maybe one day I'll do poetry. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, delete all of that. What I said. Don't believe anything that I say.
Right. Right. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, so the clarity is just the simplicity, the directness, right? And it's just calm, right? Is there any problem right now?
No.
No, yeah, there you go. People are looking for that big bang or that fireworks when they're dismissing the simplicity of no issues, no conflicts, peace. Peace that's so quiet that you don't even notice it.
And I know this is just going into the next, but
How do I maintain this?
yeah, because
You don't, because there's no next. It's just a belief. If for example, after a couple of hours, if you think that this is came back, it's just a belief. Just go back into belief. What's between belief and no belief?
and I still get like the mind just takes off and just starts ruminating
What's
and
wrong with that? Yeah. What's wrong with that?
okay,
As
so
long
I
as
catch
it's,
myself.
yeah, so long as it's not like trying to seek, the neurosis is being, this is basically showing you that the neurosis is over. That's what it is.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. Yeah. The neurosis of trying to get to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. Like what's next? What's next? That's seeking energy, basically, right? So yeah. And now that you've seen this clarity, it's like, you know what? I don't want to make it look like, it, I'm not better, I'm not worse. I'm just honest. Um, I don't think there's anything further.
Well, yeah.
Unless you
See,
want
I
to
want
switch, unless you want to channel aliens and stuff like that. And I can't help you with that.
to. Oh, so you're saying that? Um. Oh,
There's
see,
no levels in there's no levels in enlightenment. There's no, you know what I'm saying? In the story, like this, it does go deeper and more kind of like wowie. You know what I'm saying?
because I'm, and this
Because
is
it's the unpeeling of all of your knowing, the unpeeling of all of your belief system, basically, right?
yeah.
Um,
Because I have this belief that the clarity that okay, the intuition should be
that's just a
downloaded.
belief.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
just a belief.
it's just belief. Yeah. Yeah, your eyes are evident. It's going back and forth now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember our first meeting, there was a lot of doubt. You were so doubtful, right? It's like,
And
that's
I'm
okay.
trying to not allow. Well, I'm not trying to do anything, I
You're not
guess.
trying to do anything. How can you? Yeah.
How-
Yeah. If doubt comes, it's just a belief. It's just the opposite of belief. What's between doubt and belief? There's almost like you can it's like the when the quietness, there's almost like a hum.
Well, I did notice after our first meeting, I got
Yeah.
like this. It's not quiet.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or I don't know. I guess when I think of quiet, I
My
think of
goodness.
absolute silence, but that's not what the quiet is.
No. It's
It's
almost like a ringing quiet, like a loud quietness. Yeah.
and the stillness, like I was trying last night to think, well, what's this? What does he really mean by stillness? But because it's different for everybody. You've said that over and over and
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
So
Oh
what
yeah.
it
Yeah.
is for me, what is it for
It's
me?
it's between stillness and not stillness. That's what it is for you. It's not an idea for you. You know what I'm saying? Because then that's movement. Yeah. It's the ordinary, mundane things. But you know, it's different. Kind of like what I said, it's different for everybody. There's people that are crying, and there's a guy that cried for like he booked for 6 hours. He booked two, and he just cried and cried and cried and cried. And he goes, okay, I'm ready now. He goes, can you allow me to cry? And I'm like, yeah, for sure.
Well, that's
And
beautiful though,
it's
to
he lost a baby, like a stillborn, that he could not grieve for quite a while, right? So and then he told me like midway, and I'm like, okay, now grieve what you cannot say, or what things that were unsaid that you wanted to say and everything. And the crying just went wow. And I'm glad that there's this new directness now that I'm here meeting where people are at. I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor, I'm not even a coach or anything, but I'm a friend.
yeah, just a
Yeah.
safe space.
Just a safe space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like to dismiss you or telling you that you have there's still a me there or whatever. That's a story, right? We can go into stories and then go directly, and then stories and directly, kind of like a conversation with a friend.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I think that should be the new direction, in my opinion, of what this is, so that it can be more accessible for a lot more people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because when I was still kind of researching, I go down the rabbit hole on things, and I was still kind of researching. I came across like the fetters, and then I went to the guy's website, and it was like, oh, well, I worked on this for over a year, and I was like, oh no,
Oh no. Yeah.
I just don't have that kind of time on my hands.
And it
I
does
don't
cost a
want to
lot
have
of
that
money,
kind of
right? It just costs a lot of money doing that.
that too, and
Yeah. And the
and
time.
more frustration.
Yeah. Because you're working on levels. You know what? Much respect to that and everything. If that works for people, why
Yeah.
not? But his is now available. People will not want this all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like otherwise, like I would have been booked for 4 months now or whatever. People are afraid of this clarity, because
Right.
it's so simple.
Yeah.
Or it's letting go of all of their delusions and fantasies of being ultra enlightened. There's no such thing as ultra enlightenment
And
or
see, I'm
levels.
still having doubts now. I'm letting the
And that's okay. That's
clear
okay.
that out. Yeah.
That's
It's
okay.
all,
Yeah. It's a
it's
part
all,
of it, right? So
mhm.
doubt is a lie, belief is a lie. So what's in between it? You're a seasoned seeker, Penny. Right?
Oh my
I meet a
goodness.
lot like you, right? Yeah. It's just seasons as seekers and everything. They always come back though, because they get a taste of that subtlety, even in the first session. You did a tiny bit. Or loud. You said loud. Loud silence. Yeah.
Well, I noticed the noise,
Yeah.
the little bit of it's not really I don't know what it is, a hum, like you
It's like a sound. It's like sound and silence and noise together.
yeah,
It's almost like one of those like white noise.
yes.
Yeah. It's beautiful. I like it.
But see, and now everybody else has got, they've experienced quiet and they experience
No,
this
no,
and they
no.
can't talk,
This
and
is
I'm
this
not
is no,
having
no.
that,
Again, it has nothing to do with you.
the doubt.
Yeah, that's just a story. There's something that's not a story, and that's that ringing or that white noise or silence. And again, it's just words. People will call it silence. People will call it like white noise, or people will call it cicadas. Someone said it's like cicadas,
Yeah.
but you can't make it up because it's here, right? Can you make that up?
Yeah.
No.
How, I don't know. How is there anything to do to make it
Nope.
more primary?
Nope. No. That's just trying to go to the next,
Mm.
right? It will unfold in the story on its own, right? It was just an unfolding, unfolding, unfolding.
I don't know I watched a one-on-one yesterday, and it just made so much sense. I don't need to know anything because everything unfolds in the moment, whatever
That's
I
right.
need
Yeah.
to
In the
know.
present, in the present moment. Yeah, it's not in the next, in the present.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an unfolding. I was talking to a guy yesterday that he's a season. So he told me like all of his big glimpses, his big experiences with gurus and everything. And he took 50 minutes to tell all me his story. And I said, and all I had to say is, well, what do you believe? And he was like, damn it. What did you do there? Right? Because he has all of this belief of, like, oh, you got nothing on me and everything. And he goes, oh my goodness. And he started crying. He goes, oh my goodness, finally. Right? Because all of those stuff, it was bangs and fireworks and everything. He had Kundalini experiences. He had like, he had I don't know. He's just been like he's like 80 years old and he's been seeking, he's losing it and everything. And I felt really bad for him. Right. And then when he finally clicked, it was just goes, okay, I can retire now. So retire. It has nothing to do with you. You don't want to get into 80 years old, Penny.
Mm-mm.
No, you know?
It's closer to me than 80's closer than
Me too. you know, me too. Me
I
too.
start thinking about those.
How
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me your age, but I'm 52, so I'm closer to 80. Yeah.
I'll be 52 in less than a month. So
Okay, there we go. We're the same. Yeah. So I know what you mean. You know what I'm saying? So this one was like I was when did it hit? Luckily before 50. You know what I'm saying? So
oh,
yeah,
yeah.
luckily before 50.
I know. I often think, well, what if I found this stuff in my 20s?
No, that's just a thought.
That's
There's
just the
no time. Yeah,
story.
yeah.
Yeah. It's just
Sometimes when I do one-on-ones with youngins, and I'm like, I'm gonna smack you. Did you hear me say that? I was like,
I know. I'm like trying to hint
23.
to my son. He's 26. I'm like, do what?
I had a mother that has a son that's like 20 something, and she got him to watch my one-on-ones, and he's finished. And she's basically saying, what the heck? Here I am kind of like going to ashrams and retreats, and he watches your videos for like, I'm like, don't complain. Don't complain. Be happy. It's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like,
Yeah. I'm grateful that I wasn't one of those people that got into the whole
I was one of
retreat.
those people, Penny.
Yeah.
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 I
Well,
was
my
I was a go for broke seeker.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. But
If I
you were
was,
seeking enlightenment.
yeah.
And I thought you had to become a monk and live in the Himalayas to do that
Oh,
way back.
luckily you believe that.
Yeah.
It saved you. For me, it was like, oh, this can happen to me. Screw my financial and corporate, ambitions. This is a better one for me.
Mm.
My partners from work when I was an entrepreneur are now multimillionaires. I don't have regret, to be honest with you. Saying no regrets. But yeah, I gave it all away,
Mm.
for this. But it's worth it.
Right.
Yeah. Although it's so simple, it's almost like, I guess I'm poor and but I'm happy. It's like I have nothing to show for anymore,
It's
and
all
it's
relative.
okay. Yeah.
Just the doubts. Stop it. Stop it.
The doubts are, you know what? The doubts are just in the periphery, though. It can't come, though. Huh? It tries to have a coup d'etat, like a takeover again. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm just going into stories, so that it normalizes, basically, right? So it's not something that's like, oh, how do I get this? That's why I'm like, that's why, I do a lot of stories, is because, for example, with that lady Vanita, right? So it was just so ordinary, right?
Mhm.
It clicked. Yeah. So that you can like get used to this clarity. It's the same, but it's different at the same time, isn't it?
It it's the same. I'm not, see, that's the whole thing, is I'm
Yeah.
not seeing anything different, and that's what's making me doubt it. It's
Yeah, but it's the same. You'll hear it from everybody. It's the same thing. Kind of like that saying, chop wood, carry water, chop wood, carry water. The difference is there's peace. And there's peace here, no matter how much doubt is coming up. And then the peace becomes the primary thing, saying it will just settle in. It's like, oh, how long have you been seeking? Like for me, it was 30 years, right? So if you're 52, must be
uh
30 years.
I think seriously started, but not liberation or anything like that, but just something. I was just searching for something,
Me,
and that
me was like
started
Eckhart Tolle, Course in Miracles,
2008.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, around that time, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
2008.
just I owned a business, and it was, just tough, and my kid was little, and
And you needed to
I just knew there was
relax.
something out there. Even as
Yeah,
a
yeah.
kid, I knew that there was something. Like my mom was a pretty devout Hindu, but the structure of that and the rules
I
of
I had I had even had mystical experiences as a kid. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I just kept on having them and having them. It was just, but I don't even talk about it because I don't want it to make it into kind of like a prerequisite, because some people are going to have because I have people that they're like, I don't even know what spirituality is, and clicks with this, right? Because this is universal. This
Yeah.
is inherent for all characters, right? So it's not and people hate when I say this. It's not a prerequisite to practice it, to contemplate it, because I've seen it over and over again. I had a guy that was this is my second Uber driver now, like because my trip from here, when someone does like a one-on-one or something, I go they come visit me, but I'm in the suburbs, so it takes about 30-40 minutes. And when the Uber driver asked me, what am I doing? And I'm like, I have a YouTube channel. He goes, what do you talk about? I'm like, oh, you don't really want to know. He goes, I do want to know. And then we start talking, talking, talking. And one guy, the first one, he said, I started talking about freedom. People are looking for freedom and they think it's a destination, but it's actually the highway that you're on. It's in every part of the way. It's in you getting stuck in traffic. It's the accidents, all that kind of stuff, right? It's a part of it. And all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, because I was not planning to do anything. He goes, I can't think right now. He goes, is there any is because I can't think right now. And he goes, what happened? He goes, I feel really light. And they started telling him, and he goes, oh, and he goes, but I go to mosques. I'm a Muslim. And I'm like, can I talk to you guys? We talked again and clarified what's happening. And then now, you know what? He's moved mosque free, you know what I'm saying, and lives in a different. He ended up going to a different province so that he can not be a part. He loves his family, but he wants to be free,
Mm.
right? So, and you know what's funny, right? Because he was about to get arranged, married, and everything. And so he docked that, right? By it's a young guy, right? And he's so happy. He's like, he has his life and everything. And I had another one that basically said, let me book a one-on-one with you. Goes, can I have you in person? So we just went into a coffee shop and everything and talked. And they don't know what non-duality is. He
Right.
knows this guy's Hindu too, so he knows a little bit of enlightenment, but it's something that he never really listened to his parents about. They were devout Hindu people. So he went home to his parents and he told his parents that um something about, I can't remember what he said, but his mom started crying because she recognized it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I can't remember what he said. Something like, I don't know, some wise stuff that I can't even say. But yeah, to the point, you don't have to know about non-duality. It's actually deterrent.
Yeah, I wish I didn't.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Because I look at my brothers, they have no idea what I'm talking about, right? And they're happy, they're content with life and everything. Not all the time, but that's what life is.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. It's just really sobering up. We have this idea that all our problems will go away when this happens. All our bills are going to get paid. I came out broke after this. Broke and no relationship, you know what I'm saying? Ruin all my relationships, and got almost like a persona non grata because just a messy character, right? I was a spiritual teacher and I was self-loathing. So yeah, that's how I came out of it. That person. I had to rebuild my life back, right? So
yeah.
so it's almost kind of like I want to tell people, don't go there. Don't go there. You know what? It's just destruction. Seeking is suffering, basically.
It is.
It
It's
is, yeah.
yeah, it's suffering on top of suffering.
And then people don't want doubt this clarity. Is there any problems right now?
There's not. And
Yeah,
I've got a little issue going on business wise, and I keep thinking about it, but it's
that's
gonna
it
be
too.
all right.
It is gonna be all right. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh well.
totally. Totally. Right. So
And if
like
it's not, it's not, right?
exactly. Yeah. That's what it is. See, there you go.
Yeah.
You're not going to rely now on someone's carrot that it's going to be better and ruin your business even more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That kind of thing, or put your life in on pause, and your relationships, like it's like joining a cult, right? When you get really, really caught up in it. It's the
Yeah,
same
but
thing as
and I
shaving
do
your
that.
head.
I do put my life on pause. Like
That's what they
until
did.
I get this, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And well, and like in 2 weeks, I know you talk about your mom as well. My mom has Parkinson's,
Oh yeah.
and I'm going to be taking care of her for I don't know, maybe a week, maybe a couple weeks.
It's easier, to be honest, because
Yeah.
I don't have the guilt and shame and the that I'm missing out on life because I'm taking care of my mom, that kind of thing.
We'll
Right? It
see. And
is what it is.
it's the opposite for me, because in our, our culture, mom is up there with Bhagwan. I mean,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and I haven't been taking care of her because it's a whole family issue. But now I'm getting this opportunity, and I'm
Oh
like,
good. That's good.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's good.
so. And I did. She came up. She lives about a good hour and a half from me, so she came up once before, and I took care of her. And it was hard. I didn't get any sleep, but my house is not outfitted for
Yeah, yeah,
her mobility
yeah.
issues. So
How old
I
is she?
plan. Hmm?
How old is your mom?
84.
Okay, yeah. You need to get those handles and stuff like that, for the washroom.
Yeah, because she
You
has
know,
all that at her house, but I don't want to go stay at her house.
yeah.
And
You have to outfit your house, before she gets
yeah,
there. So
yeah.
go
So
to YouTube, on how to,
that's the
there's
plan.
gonna be your washroom is very important.
Yeah.
You need a mat so she doesn't
Oh
fall,
yeah.
or you need a seat, you know what I'm saying, so she
Yes.
can shower.
And she
So
has
yeah,
all that, so I'm gonna bring it with her.
yeah.
And
Yeah, make sure that the handles are strong, right?
yes.
All that kind of stuff. The stairs, you can't put her into stairs, you know what I'm saying?
No,
Because
we don't have any.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good, good. Yeah.
Yeah. We live
Yeah.
we're in Florida, so most of the houses are,
Bungalows, basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're all
Oh,
single.
that's good. Well, for me, you know what? I it's the same with our culture. We revere. We're a matriarchal society, right? So we put
Yes.
mom, kind of like in your society too, right? It's matriarch,
The same.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our yeah, that's the embodiment of the Virgin Mary in our religion, which is mother,
That's right.
basically.
That's right. Heavy
Bhagwan for
Catholicism.
you, which is basically the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's more a breeze for me, right? Because before I was have these thoughts, like selfish thoughts, basically, like how can I, now that I'm single, how can I date? For some odd reason, you know what? I don't have any desire to date. I'm really content, you know what I'm saying? And there's some people who are like, what do you mean you don't have a desire to date? I'm like, if it comes, it comes.
Yeah.
But right now I'm with my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
perfect. I mean,
Yeah. I'm content with that. Right. So
yeah.
yeah. It's not like it's like walk the talk, right? Saying if you're at peace, be at peace with any situation. And that's what this is being at peace. Being at peace with the doubts, being at peace with the thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Being at peace with whatever comes. Because what peace is what you are, what not you think you are, is chaos, basically. So in between chaos and peace, where you and the not you meet and dissolve, basically, where you can't go. That's what it is. Yeah, it's just really sobriety from thoughts. We get intoxicated with thoughts, right? We get intoxicated with belief and doubts, and going between where there's no intoxication, where there's just connection to what is that's never been disconnected.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm doing that. I'm doubting. Am I doing that?
No, to both. Doubting, no.
Paradox. Yeah.
Yeah, just going between when there's really no language, no words, right? It's easy. It's automatic for me.
Right.
Yeah, but
But I
I
have
did.
to, is it okay to have to do it?
It doesn't matter, I'm saying it's good.
Okay.
It's just going to be unfolding, right? It's just unfolding. Even when we were first talk, it already kind of like almost kind of like triggered something, right? The doubt still happened and everything. So I just, what? That's a part of it, right? Then you see, you could not even resonate with other speakers anymore, can't you?
No.
Yeah. Who did you listen to after?
I tried to go back to Angela. I have a friend, she just had a near death experience,
Mhm.
maybe about a month ago. And after the experience, she, I guess she, however you call it, realized, woke up, whatever. And everything, she was so blissful.
Yeah.
Everything was so great.
Yeah.
And then she kind of went through the dark night of the
Yeah.
whatever that's called.
Yeah.
And she actually asked her doctor for antidepressants. And on her way home from the doctor, she called me and she says, "What is this?" And I said, "Well, in some of the videos I watch, they talk about this, that, you know, you get this blissful and then something comes up and you just gotta, you know, like, I don't know, if you're familiar with Michael Singer, you just gotta let that, just process it, just let it happen."
Yeah. Yeah.
And she said she went home that night, and she says, "Why did I come back? I could have just chosen to not come back." And I said, "Well, if then you probably, you know, I don't know if that's, who knows what happens when you
Yeah.
die, but would you just come back with the same issues?" And she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah." I don't know. So I forgot what we were talking about.
Angelo.
Huh? Oh
Angelo.
yeah. So
Yeah.
she finally found Angelo, and she's been listening to him and sending me videos. And I would listen to him for about 3 minutes and I would be like, "Ugh, I just can't. I just can't." You know, I just want the direct
Yeah.
without the fluff. And I
Yeah.
understand there's, you know, if I didn't find you, maybe I would still need the fluff or want the fluff, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
just,
this is like raw, basically, right? So it's like it's without the words. And again, some people need the fluff, right? Some people, and Angelo's a great speaker for that. He's a great teacher for, you know, that kind of thing. At least, you know, there's integrity there and there's honesty, right? So, which is
definitely.
great qualities to have, right? And yeah, so, but sometimes, you know, saying you just don't need the fluff. You just need to go, you know, direct, you know, and
Yeah. And I constantly, I mean, I'm sure it's okay. I just constantly, like, I'll, you know, doing the dishes and I'll say, "Go between thought and no thought," or "What is between?"
yeah,
It's kind of like the self inquiry.
yeah. It's the inquiry. It's between inquiry and no inquiry.
Yeah.
Because when it gets there's no inquiry anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it goes directly. Yeah.
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 So I try to resonate in that place. But, and then the mind comes in and says, "Oh, you're not really, there's no clarity here. There's
Yeah,
no
of course, that's what the mind is for. You know what I'm saying? So don't, you know, kind of like what Michael Singer said, right? If your mind is a person, you would not be friends with it. You
Yeah.
would stay away from that person. You're like, you
Oh
know,
man, would I? And I'm one of those that if you did me wrong or something happened, you're done.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah. For me, I'm the classic doormat person, right? Like, you
Oh,
know, like, but now, you know what? You know, if you listen to my new videos, I call it out now.
good.
I call it out, right? It's
Well,
no, because you know what? It's so funny, right? In this marketplace of non-duality, everybody is putting down people. You know what? And here I was so kind for the past year, 2 years, and everything, right? And and then all of a sudden, I was not even listening to what people were saying, that, oh, they're talking shit about behind your back. I'm like, oh, it's okay. And then for 6 months, I didn't have any income because I got canceled. Yeah, because they're saying that I'm just in it for the money. And I'm like, meanwhile, I've given it for free for quite a long time. So I was not understanding, you know, and then he's not talking the same way that we do. There's still a me there. There's still a person there. And meanwhile, I love doing this one-on-ones because I see characters really and they're seeking, not just temporarily or glimpse or whatever. You know, I have people now that I'm like, okay, I guess if this is not meant, you know, I was at peace with it. So I just, you know what, got a job, you know, and then when I had that job, I got fired because I don't have a good memory, and it was just way out of my league, to be honest. It was like a 200K a year job, you know, and you know, I was just a good smiling person in Zooms, but aside from that, you know what, I hired a personal assistant, a virtual assistant, without letting them know because I wanted to excel in my job,
mm,
but I just couldn't hack it for some odd reason, and then of course they had to let me go because I went against company policy of hiring a virtual assistant. I exposed some, you know, confidential information to, you know, And I said, oh, no, the person. They're like, still Emerson. I'm like, okay. So I had to take my humble pie and went back into speaking. Ate my humble pie. But you know what? People started booking me for some odd reason. Because you know what? It's almost like the work speaks louder than words. And then someone said, post more of your one-on-ones, right? Because you're doing something different here. I'm like, am I? Right. So there was even, you know, because I've always just been a doormat, and people didn't give me respect or anything, in the speaking thing anyway, because I was a host before. But I've had this clarity for quite a while. It has settled in, right? I just didn't know how to talk about it. But there was this genuine wanting really to get people out of seeking, because I don't want people to go through what I went through. And I was just seeing all the speakers. I'm like, why are they just speaking and not really helping people? I didn't get that. And they say there's no one to help. I'm like, well, that's just a belief. If somebody is crying and they're like, I want this seeking to stop. There was one person, I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's talk every day, right? Let's talk every day, regardless if you can pay or not, right? Because if you've been to hell, Penny, and you got out, wouldn't you tell people don't go in there?
For sure.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, because relatively speaking, my life, I don't consider myself have been to hell. I put myself in my own
But when you're
prison.
seeking, because you know what, I have a good family, I have a pretty good job, I was an entrepreneur, you know what, like I was at the top of my game. I had a big house and everything. I threw it all away.
Yeah.
I was married. I threw it all away for seeking. Yeah. It's like a cult. Seeking is a cult, right? So it's like just try to get out. There is, you know what, the promise of that clarity is always here. But everybody dangles the carrot for too long so that they can create followers and a movement or whatever. And no one talks about it. And everybody gets, it's so frustrated that the character, the me, intellectually thinks that they are awake or there's no me,
Yeah,
and
that's
they
when I was
believe it.
watching the one-on-ones. I was like afraid. I was like, wait a minute, is this my mind thinking that I'm just that this
No.
is it?
Yeah. Well, in the clarity, your body relaxes, your eyes move around, right? So, you know what I'm saying? So it's not a mind thing. It's quite clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just believe the romanticized idea of enlightenment. You know what I'm saying? Of like all of a sudden you're this beatific character and you're talking really slowly. And you look at the camera
And don't
with your
blink.
and don't blink. And you have this goofy smile. I can't do
Yeah,
it.
I know. It's
No,
true.
you're gonna be Penny. Penny's gonna be Penny, right?
Right.
The character's gonna be more authentic. It's still going to take care of your mom. Like, like someone made a comment before. They're like, why is he taking care of his mom? He's supposed to be enlightened. And I'm like, how unenlightened is that comment? Saying of like, so you leave your mom because you know what? And then it is what enlightenment is it's a myth.
Yeah.
It's a myth, right? It's an idea. There's peace and clarity always at hand, but it has nothing to do with you and your thoughts, your ideas, because the ideas will always propose an opposite. That's what duality is.
Right.
But when you see that ideas are just ideas, then you really don't have any ideas. There's just this clarity without words, right? It doesn't have, you don't need to comprehend it. You don't need to know it. It's just, because what's the point of knowing it? Oh, I know I'm enlightened. No, it doesn't make sense. I'm not going to name names, but someone shared it to me. One of the teachers said, I pondered for quite a while. And I have really figured out that I'm really awake.
Because you got out of bed this morning?
Yeah. And you're one of those seeker that's also very critical and cynical, which is great, right? So that you don't go with the fluff and the bullshit, right? So here it is with the fluff and the bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's basically it.
Man, I'm glad I didn't fall into it because, like, I'm like everybody else. I could have felt for it in an instant.
I fell for it because when my life was going wrong, you know what I'm saying? I thought I could fix it with enlightenment.
Well, and that's it. It's all about the fixing.
The fixing, yeah. The next. You know what? You know what? I don't want to deal with this one, but maybe if I get enlightened, I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah. And
it's fantasy.
I don't feel like I'm never going to have problems. Like there's never going to be issues. I just
There's
feel
still
like
going to be problems. You know what I'm saying? Like
there's going to be a peace
yeah. There's a peace, yeah. And the peace is what is permanent.
Yeah.
This is the peace when people are born. This is the peace when people die.
I just got to remember that peace when my husband says something and I react.
Even reaction is okay, to be honest. Yeah. The peace will be there. Yeah. Like, for example, I got worried because, like people can keep on asking me, do you still get angry? I'm like, anger still happens. They're like, no, but do you still get angry? And I'm like, no, I haven't been angry. But one day I got angry. And it was good.
Yeah.
Right? Like someone was yelling at my dad. My dad's elderly and it's a parking issue. And I yelled at him. I'm like, hey, like my voice just went, my chest puff, and then I just called him out. I'm like, that's an elderly man. That's my dad. What's your problem and everything? Even the people in the neighborhood are like, chill, because, people can't even imagine me get angry. The character just doesn't get angry much, right? So, but with this one, it just no anger for like a long time. I got beat up. I didn't even get angry. You know what I'm saying? I got mugged. I didn't even get angry. And I'm like, okay, there must be something wrong. You know what I'm saying? This is too good. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but yeah, when I get angry, I was like, oh yes. I looked at my dad. I'm like, I got angry, Dad. And he goes, good for you, son, for standing up for me. And I'm like, I got angry.
I love it.
Even when I was getting hacked, I did angry. Even when I was getting bullied, I was not angry. Yeah. I got bullied for like a year and a half of like people just trying to hack my everything, and people talking shit about me. Yeah, my back. Just because I'm kind of compassionate, that I do really want to help people, that there's a person there. It's a belief that there's no one. It is, yeah. It's between someone and no one, and there's something that we can't say. If we go to one position, it just becomes a belief system. You get it? Yeah. Yeah. And that's clarity without words.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not an either or, right?
Right.
Initially, when people do have this, clarity, they're like, there's no one here. And then the belief comes in.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can't find a thought, basically.
No, I still feel like there's a penny here. I still feel like.
Yeah. And that's okay. And that's okay.
There.
Yeah. But without the belief, what is it then? Is there a penny there? There you go. Yeah. So it's in between belief, penny and now no penny, right?
Right.
Because with the belief, with thoughts, there is. But without thoughts, no.
These beliefs.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, I'm like,
well, it's new. This is new because this has been this is the most direct you've been in probably in your life. Or no, maybe when you were a kid, you were direct. You forgot how direct you were when you're a kid, but in your adult life anyway.
I think when I was a kid, I went through a door, but I mean, I thought I was like Casper or something.
Oh, really?
I just remember that experience so clearly that I walked through a door. It was so weird. I don't know why I always think of it.
I had mystical. You know what? It's so funny, right? Because in the Catholic Philippines is a very Catholic country. It's like 90% of, if India is like very Hindu, Philippines is very Catholic, right? So it's homogenized, meaning that everyone is Catholic. So when the Good Friday, when Jesus Christ gets, like the crucifixion, the Good Friday, the whole country shuts down, and prays. So me being a rebel that I am, went outside and played. Guess what happened? I stepped on a rusty nail.
That's kind of ironic.
I know. But you know what? That was my first glimpse, really. It was almost like a clarity. I don't know how to explain it, right? But there was clarity for quite like this right now.
Yeah.
Right. Because I was like being a rebel, and I was like, oh my goodness. And then when I stepped on that thing, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm a sinful. And then my mind just went blank. And then when I went home, and when my mom and my dad was called me, like, we told you that's Jesus punishing you for not being a good boy, that kind of thing. Now you have a just like how Jesus got nailed on a cross, you have a rusty nail, so they had to get tetanus shot, and everyone was big. But I was at peace. I was just like,
that's Jesus showing you the way.
that's right. Jesus had my back.
Come, boy.
My homeboy.
The way. I love that.
But there was no belief or anything like that. It was just clarity. It was just clarity, right? So it was just, that's what I mean, right? And even, like, and the clarity is what's been here for like, I don't know how many years, like 7, 6, 7, 8 years. I don't know. I'm not counting. Yeah. Because this feels like an eternity. Yeah. It's like all of those bad stuff is very remote now. It's almost very like a distant nightmare. Right.
Yeah.
As if I didn't even go through it. For it to look at the past. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
I have to like actively go seeking for drama or past, but I don't have to.
That's right. Yeah. And this was immediate, right? You were excited in the beginning, you're like, and then boom, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was just, and again, I just had this fear yesterday of, is it, watching the one-on-ones yesterday, I kept on thinking, wait, am I already seeing it? Is this it? And then like you would talk about time with somebody, and I was like, no, I'm still feeling time. I'm still feeling.
But that's a belief.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so easy to get caught up in beliefs. Some speakers and teachers get caught up in it. They don't even know that they're just talking what they believe. Right.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's okay. It's okay.
It's like, where's the Control Alt Delete?
That's a thought. That's a belief.
Yeah, that's a thought.
Yeah. It's okay. You know what? It's you've had this. You're like a hoarder. Everything is basically leaving, and you're like, no. I can use that belief. Seriously, that's worth a lot of money. That belief. Put it back. That's what the hoarder.
I'm going to sell that belief in 10 years.
That's right. Yeah. It's going to increase in value. That's a rare belief. That one's rare. I got that when I went to India from an ashram. Yeah. Don't take that out. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a constant. It's like the hoarding. What the emptying is unfolding basically, right?
Yes.
Yeah. For me, it was almost like a bottleneck because I had so much. Like I was just like, I've just made myself crazy, like almost like neurotic, right? So when it everything just disappeared, when I could not find Emerson, then everything just went, and I was just like, what the hell, right? Because it was such an intensity, right? You're okay, you're more relaxed. I was just, it was like, enlightenment or bust, basically, kind of thing. And then I just gave up. I'm like, oh, this radical non-duality is giving me depression, that kind of thing. I'm having anxiety. I'm having panic attacks because of seeking. So I just decided I was just going to DJ. You know what? Maybe, a couple of weeks of just DJing and everything, right? So every time that I would have this feeling of an anxiety or whatever, I just go DJ. And then one day, and I was like, wait a second. And then just went, poof, and I was like looking around. I'm like, oh. It was a wow. And then it was just kind of like, oh, is this really it?
Yeah.
It's like, really? This is all I work for? It's like, this is what I gave everything for? This kind of thing. It was very anticlimactic at the same time. And then there was just this awe. I was just like a little kid again. But luckily, I was in a place that there was no one around to talk to. So I guess it settled and deepened, and yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if I'm having thoughts or not. I'm like,
yeah,
looking at the trees and saying,
yeah,
I don't know. Or if they're coming, they're leaving just as quickly as they're
they are.
coming.
Yeah. There's something awake. You know what I'm saying? That the thoughts are like dreams, that you're not snoozing them anymore. Like the moment that you engage in the thoughts, like pressing the snooze button, you go back into the dream of thinking. It's so awake that it can't do that anymore. It will try, you know what I'm saying? But it doesn't have any landing anymore.
When I work, or like, for instance, when I had to prepare, I prepare all my taxes for our accountant and I put everything together and just hand it over to her. I'll get into that zone. I'll get into that.
Oh, yeah.
So I know I was fully capable.
Yeah. No, it has nothing to do with you. That's the zone is what you are.
Yeah.
You're just dreaming of a penny, basically.
Yeah.
Or the dream is penny. There's no you dreaming. This penny is the dream. The dream is the thought. The language is like the snoring.
Yeah. I thought, well, maybe I'll just start listening to videos in Japanese because then I won't understand them.
So silly we think that,
Because language.
Someone actually sent me someone that is in a forum and everything, and this girl basically had a dream of me. And she said, I was dreaming of Emerson, and he came over to his house. He had the same, like fat round face and the same nerdy glasses. And I'm like, and he started talking. And he goes, and he sat on my floor. He was just talking nonstop about non-duality this, non-duality that. And then when the girl was trying to share her story, I would not shut up. And he goes, it's really rude. This is a really rude guy, right? Kind of like, not even getting me to tell my glimpse story or whatever, right? So and then he was just frustrated, was just angry. And then she woke up. She realized that she's been watching one of my 3-4 hour videos of introductions. And then something clicked with her. It's just like, oh my goodness. Everything is a thought. The dream Emerson and the Emerson in this video is the same thought. Yeah. Everything is the same thought. And without that thought, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So yeah, this is it, Penny. This is what you've been waiting for. Here it is.
This is it.
Yeah.
It's funny because my friend who had the near-death experience, and I talked to her the other day, she's like, you've already got it. What are you talking about? You're already there.
Yeah.
You're already cleared.
When I last talked, Dad, right? I was, I told you.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's done. It's already. You're like, oh, okay. You're like, but that's your character. The character was always skeptical, right? So he's doubting, right? You're like, Like, okay, if you say so. You're probably thinking, what a crock.
No, I was thinking myself as the crock
Oh,
because
you were.
I don't
Oh,
feel the separate, or I don't feel this, or I
yeah.
don't.
There
But
was there was just basically residues of yourself that was kind of like
mm,
hard residues, right? Like, like thick, residues. And but it was already it cleared up, right? Because I've seen it in, and again, this is just a story. I've seen it in your eyes, right? It just went.
mm,
It's almost
mm,
like the 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 deer in a headlight, kind of like eyes. I see it all the time when the thought just kind of like goes bloop, it
mm,
pops, right? And then the thought starts to scramble back, right? And they try to kind of like make a story out of it, like this can't be happening to you. This will never happen to you. What do you mean? Like this, what he's full of it, like it's not this. And then you go with your life, but it's there already. That clarity has already, what I'm
mm.
saying? It's like
So
it's almost like it's a story against like a seed of it basically that it it's there. Like it's almost like not a seed because I didn't give you anything, but it's almost like I'm pointing to you that it's already done. You just
yeah.
think that you're not, right? And you're like, what do you mean? You know.
So how do you live on a daily basis? How do you?
Well, this is the same as before. This is, what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's kind
Okay.
of like when you're doing your accounting, right? Like something just it's actually, what? It's actually like the reason I'm able to make those um thumbnails and make my videos is because I'm in the zone,
Mm,
basically, right? So for example, when I'm working, I used to be such an ADD person. Now I'm really focused, and that's why I'm able to make videos, right? So it's in the zone. I can take care of my mom. I can really, be in a schedule that I can do this and do that at the same time. Yeah. So it's not about just staring at the walls, although I can stare at the walls.
yeah.
Sometimes someone books and they're late for like 30 minutes and I don't even notice that 30 minutes pass. I'm like, oh my goodness, I better write that person just in case they forgot or something. And they're like, oh, thank you for your patience and everything. I'm like, it's okay. I was just staring at the camera. I didn't even really notice it, right? Kind of like right now, you can zone out looking at a tree, can't you?
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh,
Isn't it weird that the scriptures don't matter now?
nothing matters,
Nothing
right?
matters. Yeah.
Nothing really. I don't think anything matters.
No.
Nothing matters. Thank you.
Well, you know
I
what?
don't.
It's kind of like you do have a different smile now than before. Before was like the angry seekers, like look, you had the frustrated seekers look, right? I was like, don't worry, I don't take it personal, but you're like, okay, another thing here. What do you have? Show me what you got. Why is this different? That kind of thing, right? So it's just that jaded seeker.
Yeah.
And I was like I was like, I was just like sick and tired of it. So in some way, the radical worked for me because I was nihilistic. I was just done.
Hmm.
But I didn't know that I just went into another belief system.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And this, instead of saying Om Namah Shivaya, my new mantra became there's no one here. There's no me. There's no me. There's no me. There's no me. And I'll be like, there's no me. And then of course, you know what? You'll think of something, you're like, oh, what am I doing? Fooling myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is clarity as long as you don't land on anything. You land on something, go in between, create an opposite and go in between. Right?
Okay.
It might seem like a practice in the beginning, but you know what? It worked for a lot of people. So
Well, it's better than the who am I, because that just, I don't know. I don't know.
yeah,
That
I know.
just
Sorry.
not resonate
I
with
was
me.
so frustrated with that. Oh my goodness. Like
Yeah.
how many times am I going to read this book?
Yeah.
Right? How many times, right? Like what do I have to do? Like I'm like, do I have to, read the sentence really, really slowly to get this? Because And then the I Am That, all of those books, right? It was just like, I used to lug them around, and carry them and read them and reread them. And I don't know how many times I've read it. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. I want to
This is
sell all of
nothing.
those.
You are, yeah, yeah, good, good. Buy yourself something nice. Get a massage, for all those
Well,
seeking.
I want a bike so I can ride up to the beach.
Yes, that's good. Sell all of those books. Get rid of the bookshelf, you know what I'm saying? Have a clear wall.
It's like I think in one of your videos you said it's like getting rid of the rocks. The thoughts are the rocks.
Yeah, yeah,
Or rocks are the.
yeah. I don't know. But yeah, it's just a bunch of stuff, right? It was just like, and you probably accumulated so many books.
Yeah.
Like I used to go to the spiritual bookstore and then come back with like $300 worth of stuff. I'm like, oh,
That was
I'm
my
like,
candy store.
and I was like, it feels like I'm a crackhead, like, I would go to like spend. I'm like, but at least probably crack is cheaper. This is a more expensive, habit, right? So
And my husband, he's so good. Oh, you want me to take you to the bookstore?
he's so patient. Maybe you need to treat him for all of the torture you put him through with this seeking bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, okay. This is
Yeah,
it. Okay.
yeah.
And this is not it.
Bingo. Or going between this is it and this is not it. Yeah.
And this is not it.
Because you know what? The mind is so tricky too, right? Because someone came to me and said that this and this is already the case. I'm like, that's just another belief. The moment it's already the case, that's another belief. The speaker is trying to express it as clearly as they can, but they don't know that it lands as a belief. I think the one-on-one really helped me a lot because I get to hear what is going on with the seekers, and I get my speaker's hat out, you know what I'm saying, and just be friends with somebody. I don't have a role here rather than to help you, right? See through it, right? So,
Well, I'm so grateful for your friendship,
oh,
your love, and everything that is the whatever's transmitted, whatever's the. I know in some of your older videos you said it's just empty speaking to empty. It's
it's
just
just empty to empty. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's what it is, right? We get rid of our bullshits. We meet in the middle, so that we can both dissolve.
Yeah.
That's basically it. You know what I'm saying? I get rid of the bullshit that you believe in. You get rid of the bullshit. So it's you helped you, I helped you. The same thing. You know what I'm saying? We did this. It's over.